Good morning. It's good to see all of you online today. I'm Michael Kyer with the OUUC Tech Team. We're leading worship from several locations today. As the service moves back and forth between us, you'll be able to see whoever's speaking if you put your screen on speaker view rather than gallery view. And you can see us singing together if you go back to gallery view. We'll also be using the chat box throughout the service to post the song lyrics and to share joys and sorrows. You can turn the chat on and off by clicking the chat icon, so you might want to find that now. We can expect some glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connections. We appreciate the grace as we all remember it's about connection, not perfection. One suggestion is if you're having trouble with your reception, you might try turning off your video to see if that helps. Last, I hope you'll find a candle or a chalice. In a moment, we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing together. We're going to start in the Teal Hymn Book, hymn number 1020, Wo Ya Ya, or you can just find the lyrics in the chat. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 yeah. Nice. This next is a chant: the earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Those lyrics will be in the chat. I'll start at once, and then you can join in. And as we go through, you can add your own harmonies if you want to. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return.
It looks like we lost Troy. Is that what everybody's seeing? Yeah. Oh, darn. Okay. Let's just go right on ahead. What I'm wondering is Anne back?
I am.
Okay. Let's just go right on. Thanks, Anne.
Good morning, and welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We commit to live out our mission to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We're so glad that you're here today with us. My name is Ann Radford, and I'm a member of the Worship Arts team. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Gear, Reverend Carrie Kopnick, our interim community life coordinator, and Troy Fisher, our music director. We give thanks for the tech team for providing technical support today, and thanks to Darlene Sarkala, our administrator, for keeping us informed and connected. We're grateful for the many hands that have helped make worship happen this morning. We welcome each of you to this celebration of love and wonder, and to this congregation. After the service, we invite each of you to stay online for a virtual coffee hour. This is a chance to gather with a small group and say hello and check in. We'll offer more information at the end of the service. I want to draw your attention to the printed order of service, which includes our announcements available on the website. Now, following today's service and coffee hour, please plan to join Reverend Mary, Reverend Carol, and Sarah for a Q&A session about the new Pathways to Engagement model we'll be using this year to deepen our spiritual connections to each other and the larger world. You can find some information about Pathways in the past few Wednesday updates, and there will be more information out this week. Bring your curiosity and your questions to join the discussion. We'll have directions about how to do that later. There are many opportunities to stay connected to our community. Social distancing does not mean social isolation. Please check the website regularly, and if you have questions or need help, please check in with a staff member. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together.
Good morning. This morning, in a time of so much loss, I bring the news of a loss to our community. OUUC member Tom Holdersma has died. Tom passed to his next adventure this past Tuesday, August 11th, at home, at peace, surrounded by his loving family, wife Samara, his sons, daughters-in-law, and grandchildren. His family noted that Tom, who was a physicist and astronomer, chose to depart this earth on the eve of a magnificent meteor shower shining in the night sky. Tom was a deeply spiritual man, following the teachings of Yogananda. His spiritual practice included a twice daily meditation, which Samara says he was faithful to for over 40 years. Samara and Tom connected to the Unitarian Church when they lived in Europe for Tom's job with Boeing. They joined OUUC in 2007, about at the same time Tom was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Tom and Samara enjoyed the OUUC community and found comfort in the music therapy class offered by Troy. As is fitting of Tom's love of learning and teaching, he chaired the Adult Ed Committee for about 7 years, during which time the class offerings expanded in number and variety. Samara says Tom's labor of love was to work for hours on his computer, crafting the brochure of classes offered. Although he and Samara had not been able to attend services and events for some time, Tom remained connected to this community to the end. I was honored to visit Tom just a few days before his death, and a beautiful quilt from the OUUC sewing ministry was at his bedside. Tom's son, Ben, says that his dad lived a rich life filled with love, warmth, openness, and laughter. Tom leaves behind much love, felt deeply by his wife, 4 sons, daughters-in-law, and 6 grandchildren, and members of this community. There are no firm plans yet to celebrate Tom's life. We will keep you posted through the Wednesday electronic newsletter and Sunday announcements. Tom left a legacy of lifelong learning at OUUC, a legacy that we cherish and will carry on. We will miss him. May we honor Tom's life by bringing a love of life and learning into our hearts and minds. And Tom, may your spirit dance with the stars. We light this candle in memory of Tom Holdersma.
This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. We light our chalices together with these words. We light our chalice firmly grounded here on earth. We light our chalice as the lives flow like the water that ever cycles from the cloud to the land, to the ocean. We light our chalice with the breath of air that moves through the trees, across the desert, over the mountain. We light our chalice for the fire that destroys, that clears, allowing the rebirth, and that lights our way. We light our chalice here, united with our community. We return, we return, we return. Okay, I'm lighting my chalice.
This
That's
out.
our chalice.
You want me to blow this up?
Here are our opening words offered by Mandy McGlynn. Everything is about to change, and it already has. It will be, it was, it is. The dawn you eagerly await to end the long, cold darkness is already full sun far off in the east. Yet even after light's return, spring is months away. 30 long years pass after his birth before the Messiah comes. Stones of justice have been tossed in the lake, but their ripples have not yet arrived, have not resolved into the kingdom already present among us. While we wait, let us seek in the darkness of the now and the not yet the treasures God has hidden there, the treasures of secret places only found by night. This is what is promised us. The wheel of life turns ever on, and darkness is a path to joy. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing together again, this time out of the gray hymnal, hymn number 295, Sing Out Praises for the Journey. Sing out praises for the journey, pilgrims we who carry, searchers in the soul's deep yearnings, like our forebears in their time. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness in the endless human quest. Look inside your soul, the kindling of the hearth fire pilgrims do. Find the Spirit always restless, find it in each mind and heart. Touch and hold that ancient yearning, kindling for a newfound truth. Stand we now upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Earth behind us, wayside hostel, built by those who knew wild roads. Guard we ere their sacred embers, carried in our minds and hearts. Thank you for singing.
Our story today is Wherever You Are, My Love Will Find You by Nancy Tillman. I wanted you more than you ever will know, so I sent love to follow wherever you go. It's as high as you wish, as quick as an elf. You'll never outgrow it. It stretches itself. So climb any mountain, climb up to the sky. My love will find you. My love can fly. Make a big splash. Go out on a limb. My love will find you. My love can swim. It never gets lost, never fades, never ends. If you're working or playing or sitting with friends, you can dance till you're dizzy, paint till you're blue. There's no place, not one, that my love can't find you. And if someday you're lonely, or someday you're sad, or you strike out at baseball, or you think you've been bad, just lift up your face, feel the wind in your hair. That's me, my sweet baby. My love is right there. In the green of the grass, in the smell of the sea, in the clouds floating by at the top of the sea, in the sound that the crickets make at the end of the day. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved, they all say. My love is so high and so wide and so deep. It's always right there, even when you're asleep. So hold your head high and don't be afraid to march to the front of your own parade. If you're still my small babe or you're all the way grown, my promise to you is you're never alone. You're my angel, my darling, my star, and my love will find you wherever you are. So ends our story. We came into a community this morning, bringing all that is our lives. In this space, we draw on our community of compassion to hold all that we bring here with us. We take the time now to share some of the joys and sorrows that have been offered. If you would like to send a joy or a sorrow this week, please look for the link on the online worship page on the OUUC website. It's all the way at the bottom, and we'll bring that into the service next week. Right now, I invite you to take a breath as we open our hearts to receive all that is in our community today. We extend our hearts to Samara Holdersma, her sons, and her grandchildren on the death of their husband, father, and grandfather, Tom. Tom was a blessing to OUUC and to the world. May his family remember him with love and joy, and may they feel at peace as he was. We send them our love. Hawthorne Campbell shares that his mother, Kathy, has recently experienced a great deal of joint pain and is severely restricting her mobility. She's accustomed to walking several miles each week and now must use a walker to get around her home. The cause has not yet been determined. He asked that we please keep Kathy in our thoughts as she and her family seek pain relief and a diagnosis. Hawthorne, we send love and care to you, your mother, and your family. Now I invite you to enter your sorrows in the chat box on your screen. We'll do joys in a moment. Let's hold the sorrows first. As we take in what is posted, let us reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. I place a stone in the water for all of the sorrows shared. In the midst of all, we look for moments of joy. I invite you to enter your joys in the chat box on your screen. As we take in what is posted, let us reach out our hearts in celebration to all those who share. I place a stone in the water for all the joys shared. And we'll place one more stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts that remain unspoken. Friends, I invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and of love, blessed holy mystery, we join our hearts together as we are held in this sacred community. Our shared love helps us bear the pain of loss. Our shared love helps us lift the light of joy. Together we will remember. Together we will celebrate. This life is a journey to be shared, and this beloved place holds us all. Let's hold a moment of silence together.
Let's sing together, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole.
Okay.
Shall we sing?
May we be kindness. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Our prayers and meditations deepen our gratitude for what we know as sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here today will be used to support the continued good works of OUUC and shared with the local organizations serving society's well-being in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist principles. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is the Olympia School District Education Foundation Principals Emergency Fund. Congressman Denny Heck and other community members launched the Principals Emergency Fund in 2008 in response to the unmet basic needs of students and their families. In the 2018-19 school year, Close to 300 students were homeless. The funds provide each school in the district with resources that allow principals, teachers to help remove common barriers and maximize students' potential. These funds have supported clothing, hearing aids, glasses, housing, transportation, food, school supplies, fees for school activities, and much more, transforming how students live and thrive. Please note that you can participate in the offering by making a donation in the online church website by texting the number that will appear on your screen in just a moment. You can also mail a check to OUUC. Our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received. And then Troy plays.
It looks like Troy, we've lost Troy again. Is that right? I think so. Let's go ahead and go on to our reading, Anne.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's a reading by Margaret Weiss. A recipe for resilience. Now, this recipe has been tweaked over time, so adjust as necessary. Sometimes it yields more servings than anticipated. Sometimes it needs a bit more of this or a little bit of that. It comes from generations who have gone before me and have added a little of my own flavor along the way. 1 part courage, 2 parts tears of failure and doubt, 1 part deep listening, 1 part each both silence and laughter, a dash of trust, a pinch of wonder, a heaping scoop of naps and snacks. In a separate bowl, mix together family, friends, and those who challenge you to be your best self, those with whom you disagree. And slowly to the larger pot, add a bay leaf for, well, whatever it is bay leaves are supposed to do, and let simmer for as long as you need, which is often longer than you realize or anticipate. Keep the heat at an even temperature, hot enough to cook throughout, but not so hot that it burns the bottom. Can be served at room temperature, warm, or even cold if necessary on a hot day. Serve alongside your favorite soft blanket, dog, cat, or other soft item. Make often. Share with others. Hold on to the leftovers. You'll need them after a long day that challenges your soul. This ends our reading.
And I think we still have no Troy, is that right? Okay, we have to promise that he'll do this piece at the end if he comes back because it's a mashup. But let me just sing this one for you. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And hopefully Troy's back for the mashup later. The Earth. On my first day in our building as your interim community life coordinator, I sat at a desk. I met Marie and Troy. I warmed up my dinner with my good friend Sarah. I met Jane Brody as she was making copies for OWL and Julie Roseman as she was working in the kitchen. I attended a lovely Vespers in the sanctuary, and I drove home in the glow of the lovely day, filled with people and fellowship, grounded solidly on the earth of the building and the community here. What a wonderful place. Then I got really sick and missed what should have been my first Sunday to be introduced to the congregation. By the next week, I had recovered from what turned out to not to be COVID, but instead para-influenza. It was Pajama Sunday, and we were already dealing with a rising concern about coronavirus. We were learning phrases like social distancing and are not. That Sunday, we used a lot of hand sanitizers and no hymnals. It was still fun and joyful and wonderful. By the next Sunday, the governor had ordered no gatherings over 50 people. Schools were closed, and we were going to have to close the doors to our sanctuary. I told Reverend Mary that I wasn't sure exactly how, but I knew we could take our service online. My friend of many years, Sarah, said, "I've seen Carrie duct tape a phone to a chair and go live." That's not quite true. It was painter's tape, but I knew we could do it. And we did. Riley, Fritz, Sarah, Troy, and our guest speaker, Joe, put on the service from the sanctuary. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. Then the total lockdown came. We were going to have to go completely virtual. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The air. I hardly remember our first Sunday of completely virtual service. We obviously got through. We were all quickly practicing how to use Zoom. We gathered to have coffee, to eat lunch. I know we practiced passing the host function around the circle a few times. A fine crew of wonderful people raised their hands to help fellow congregants learn to use Zoom, to troubleshoot about that system and this issue. They supported each other, supporting the rest. And somehow we learned one thing here and another there and shared the things we had learned. Some of us had been working in Zoom for years on one committee or class or another, so we had some practice. But pretty soon our online tech team, Sharon and Eric and Cindy and Teresa and Michael, had Zoomed ahead of the rest of us. Reverend Mary learned to record herself on Zoom. And while Troy still insists he's not a Luddite, he's not much of a fan of technology, and still somehow figured out how to keep the joy and fellowship of choir, even when we couldn't sing together. Our worship arts team learned to lead virtually. Reverend Carol figured out that you can put plastic wrap in the bottom of the Joys and Sorrows bowl so the rocks don't clink too loudly. And we all learned to breathe through the goofs and the frustrations of moving our whole community online in the blink of an eye. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The fire. For me, it was a wonderful time. I love to learn and lead and follow all at once. We were working in a beautiful, shared, ministered, chaotic mandala of joy and fun and deeply meaningful connection in ways we had just not quite done before. Nothing was the same, but it was good. I began 2020 thinking that this was the year I would be ordained as an interfaith minister in Berkeley, California with my seminary community, that I'd leave the job I'd been doing for 4 years, head to my chaplain residency, and things would be orderly and calm. My vision board for the year tells the story. The word of the year I chose was become. But as Robert Burns said, and Steinbeck expanded on, the best laid plans of mice and men go often awry. And my year started off awry, very awry, so awry. And our collective 2020 has gone awry. None of our vision boards held a pandemic that would not be handled as any public health textbook would advise. None of our 5-year plans in 2015 included this. Nothing is the same, but they're still good. We are still becoming. As our community at OUUC met for Zoom lunches and Zoom coffee and Zoom everything, I said to Reverend Mary, I'm kind of falling in love with this congregation. I'm probably not supposed to do that as the interim, but I just can't help it. These people are amazing. Reverend Mary said, what could ever be wrong with loving people? Of course, Reverend Mary is right. Nothing could ever be wrong with loving people. It might hurt more when I leave, but I couldn't help it. This is a very lovable congregation. You are very lovable, and I did. I came to treasure you all, to love you. Now, it was a good thing because just about the time we really hit our stride, my life got pretty hard. Our tech team members, Michael and Sharon, generously accepted my request for help on the virtual ordination of my cohort of 5 ordinands, which included 5 charge givers, 4 musical performers, 5 seminary faculty speaking, and about 10,000 switches of camera and muting and video and slideshows and live streaming. It was a tech nightmare of complexity that they made beautiful and good. My mom watched from Minnesota and texted me after the service, "You looked beautiful." The next morning, I got a call from my brother that he'd taken her to the hospital because she was having trouble breathing. And by that evening, she was gone. It was just about exactly the death she had always been clear she hoped for. Mahjong on the deck on Wednesday, dinner out with margaritas in a fancy glass on Friday, and then peacefully gone on Sunday. I couldn't have felt more supported by you, the congregation, and the staff. I received dozens and dozens of cards. People were so kind, and people are still so kind when I can't remember the word for mute or YouTube. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Water. So here we are. I've gone to orientation at St. Joe's in Tacoma already. I will be one of 2 chaplain residents at the hospital. It's a sought-after position. You get paid for a year of intensive training in hospital chaplaincy. The program is respected and mature. I feel incredibly lucky to be learning there, even with COVID. I am so deeply called to accompany staff, patients, and their families during tender times. It takes my breath away. There's a piece in the October 2017 issue of OUUC's publication, The Commons, that we ask prospective new members to read. The article was written just after the Reverend Eric Posa arrived for a 2-year interim. Reverend Tandy Rogers writes, "You, the congregation, the laity, you are a flowing river, the ongoing community. Ministers step into your waters and back out of your waters, and the river keeps flowing." I want to thank you for inviting me to play with you in your river of love and joy that is OUUC. Know that you are strong, you are good, you are a sacred, gathered, covenanted community. I feel reconnected to the faith of my childhood. I am more you today than I was that day I spent at my desk in the building. A chalice. My time here has renewed me, and I will treasure it forever. As I go, I want to charge you to hold each other. Hold each other in love. Hold each other accountable. Hold on to each other. Church life is often complicated. My friend and mentor, the Reverend Barbara Cordell, The Reverend Barbara Cornell used to say, everyone has baggage, but people come to church and unpack. If things get complicated or difficult, I invite you to return to the earth, your church home, the grounds, the columbarium, even if it's just in a warm memory for now. I invite you to return to the air, to this amazing online faith community we have that has wings, that wings through the air and keeps us connected. I invite you to return to the fire, the spark that sometimes challenges, sometimes comforts. And I invite you to remember that you, the community, are the river. And rivers change. They move, their banks shift over time. That's just how it is. Flow with those changes. And know that wherever you are, my love will find you.
Thank you, Carrie.
We have Troy that day.
Let's sing together again, and I hope that the gremlins will let me stay online. We're going to sing hymn number 1068 from the Till Hymn Book, Rising Green. My blood doth rise in the root of yon oak, her sap doth run in my veins, boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain, where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end, my sight as deep as the sea. Beating my heart sounds the measures of old, that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on as distant and sand. Winging my song is the wind on my breast, and my love blows over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love blows over the land. My foot carries days of the old into new, our dreaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day. Thank you for singing.
Troy, what do you think? Can we do the mashup now?
Sure.
All right. Let's have some sausage making while we get ready to do the mashup. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Just when we think we've got it figured out, right?
I know. You've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully, carefully taught.
We shall overcome. We shall
You've got to be taught to be afraid of peoples whose eyes are oddly made, and people whose skin is a different shade. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. You've got to be taught to love.
We shall
Thank you, Troy. And Randy. Thank you, thank you. Let's extinguish our chalices with these words by the Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalices, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world.
Let's sing together our unison benediction. Just believe. Just believe your star will shine in the night. The moon smiles on you. Know the sun will bring the flame, and in